everybody, this is our joint review of Gallifrey One 36?
35.
Yeah. So it's 3 of our first times at Gallifrey One, and Ivy's a seasoned professional. So we'll be giving our opinions 4 times. We'll be giving our opinions on this year's convention and sort of what we expected versus what actually happened and our favourite parts, and yeah. So me and Nat came together, and I guess one of the biggest things I was expecting was I thought it would be bigger than it was, really weirdly. I thought the hotel was huge, and I was quite shocked by how cozy it was. And getting here, and it's 2 big rooms and a few side rooms, but the thing is, so much goes on. You've got 7 events in 1 hour. You have to pick between the events that you're going to. So I thought A, it would be bigger, and B, I'd struggle for events to go to, but neither were true. It's really cozy here. I was really shocked how cozy it was all the time. And B, I had downtime. There was stuff that I just didn't go to, and I was fine with that. But yeah, that was my biggest change. I don't know about you guys.
What was cozy, in a good way, or was
it? Oh
it?
yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
so not cramped or anything.
It's just thought it was huge, as in loads of people, loads of room. You had massive halls and stuff. No, it shocked me how quite tight and cozy it was.
I thought it was going to be bigger. I also thought it was going to be in the airport. I had in my head that it was actually in, because everyone says oh yeah, the airport hotel, it's in the airport. It's not in the airport. It was a 20-minute walk from where we left the airport to the hotel.
It's quite far away from it,
yeah. That really surprised me. I don't know what I was expecting there. But
we thought we'd walk off the plane through the airport terminal and through the doors of the hotel.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But thank God it isn't like that.
Yeah.
God.
It's just the same stuff, really. I thought it'd be bigger, and I was really shocked before we came when I heard it was only 3,000 people, because MCM, all the London cons, are 100,000. So then I thought that it'd feel really empty, but it didn't feel really empty either, because everything was smaller than I thought, except the guest receptions, because everyone says they're really small, cozy, chatty, and yeah, it was so many people in there, and you could not hear yourself talk.
People were yelling.
Yeah, you were on this tiny table with one guest, and you couldn't hear them. You could barely hear them. It was so bad.
There's always that one table that's way too loud.
Yeah.
Way too loud. And, I respect it. You're there to meet someone, you probably won't meet again, or, you might do in the future, but you won't get an experience like that. So I understand.
Yeah.
But also, other people are there as well. Yeah. But, I did love it. But our table kind of felt like the calm after the storm every time, because we were always next to the really loud table.
Same as us.
And I loved it. I absolutely loved those parts of the event. Definitely, they were some of my favourite. But yeah, no, there was always a loud table, a really loud table.
Yeah. We had one that were every time their guest would say something funny, they would cheer so loudly that it would completely cover up what you were saying on our table. Yeah. And it was the one we were right next to.
For people who don't know, if you're watching this as a review for Gallifrey One for the first time, the guest receptions are basically events where you can pay a little bit of money and sit down, sort of having a glass of wine and a snack, and there'll be guests that just rotate around the tables that are there that night, so you get about 10 minutes of conversation with each guest. So at the one we went to, Stephen Moffat, Jenna Coleman, Alex McQueen was there, and you sort of got each guest at the table, and you got to speak for them for 10 minutes, and then they'd switch, and then they'd switch.
Kind of like speed dating.
Yeah, in a weird way.
It's just speed dating without the dating.
Yeah, and then you get a favourite guest by the end of the night. You're like, oh, that person was really chatty.
Yeah, I did one my second year. I believe it was the second, because it was with Jodie Whittaker, so it would have been my second.
Oh.
But I remember it being quite loud and quite crowded.
Yeah.
And, so I feel like it should be in a different room.
Yeah.
But I know that they book certain rooms, and, that's in the contract, that they have certain rooms. But it would be nice if there was a bit more space.
Yeah.
Mine was, I had 2. One was with Alex McQueen, Catherine Tate, Stephen Moffat. I'm probably mixing up guests from either. There was Sylvester McCoy, who I missed sadly, because I had to run up 16 flights of stairs because the elevator was taken. But I got to see Colin Baker, Katie Manning, and it was all lovely. It was lovely seeing them, and it was really sweet. both times we were at a table right in the corner, right after the very, very loud table. And that was fine. Again, I understand why people are loud, but yeah, it was quite jarring at times. But I loved it. I loved both of them.
So what were your expectations?
So, expectations to Hong Kong. Well, I did actually think it was going to be in the airport or really near the airport, and it wasn't, thank God. I don't think I could have managed that after an 11-hour flight just walking straight into a convention. I think it exceeded my expectations in every way possible because I'd spoken to my friend Dom about it for a while. We'd spoken for a bit, and he really loved it. And he talked about like the disco and all that, and it was kind of like I heard all these stories, all these legends at Gallifrey One, and I thought I gotta go to this one day. I think it exceeded my expectations. I think it felt both big and small at the same time, which is very apt considering the show and the TARDIS. But yeah, no, in many ways it was both very personal, and yet you could feel the scale of it at all times. I found like you could tell it was like one, if not the biggest Doctor Who convention.
It is the biggest.
It's the biggest Doctor convention there is. So you could definitely sense that. We have events over in the UK, but nothing quite like this.
No.
So yeah, no, you could feel the scale, but it was also small in a good way and very comforting. And I just felt very compatible at the event, I think. Yeah, no, it exceeded my expectations.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I can't remember if I had any before, because I've been doing this for 4 years. And I can't remember if I had any expectations. The first year I went was the first one after COVID. I mean, you still had to be masked at all times. It was there were less people because a new variant has started, so it was way smaller. I don't think there was 3,000 people. It was a lot less because a lot of people canceled. So yeah, I can't remember if I had any expectations or if I just know it met whatever I had. So
yeah, I guess the big question is, what was everyone's favorite part?
I'll let you guys answer first because you're the first time. Hey, I have a reason to push it on them.
That's very true.
I really like that we chatted to Sean Carlson a few times.
I love Sean.
Yeah.
The intimate conversations that you get with guests, and like sometimes you can get to chat to say someone like Jenna Coleman or Catherine Tate, but I think it was this sort of guests who'd appeared on Big Finish and just people that we weren't really expecting to really enjoy having a conversation with, like Sean Carlson, who like we haven't come across. We haven't listened to Gallifrey yet. So
You will.
And we just had a chat because he came over to our table. And we were just like, okay, this dude's like really chill and cool, and we found out that he's Welsh and we live in Wales, and we were just having the most normal conversations with guests is honestly it, because you can try and have that at a con, so you know there's always going to be an element of like, if you go up to an autograph table, right, you're paying like 100 quid for a signature, and you're going up, you're literally handing them the person the money in front of the guest. It feels icky already, but you can't then have a normal conversation with them. Whereas I think here, when they're wandering around or they're just hanging around, like they come up to you a lot of the time. So Sean Carlson, I think, and Alex McQueen, who we are actually fans of, just being the most normal blokes ever.
Yeah, so delightful.
That was great. We got to have Alex McQueen wearing Kat's like master cloak. She'd been dressed as Eric Roberts on the Saturday, and like the full cloak and everything. And he'd seen it, and he'd said that he really wanted his master to have an outfit like that. And as we brought it to the photo the next day, and he like draped it over his shoulders, and he was very excited. It was really nice.
Oh, and another highlight. I've never seen anything like this at the con before. The art show and the auction. There was this room of like fan art and fan work that was being sold and being bid on, and you could go and visit and look at it like it was in an art gallery and leave a bid on the sheet next to the item, and just the work in there was stunning. Like we managed to get two things. We managed to get like a set of hangers with the 13th Doctor screwdriver on, and this really gorgeous like Gallifreyan mural, but like nowhere else will you find that ever.
It was really
Yeah, I did. This was my first year. And I've always really liked going in there because it's, a lot of conventions have an artist alley where artists can sell their stuff, and that's quite nice as well. But to see it, I think you put it nicely, to see it in an actual like gallery
Proudly on
type
display.
setting.
It was it was brilliant.
Yeah, and they always have a great selection of artists. Yeah, and a wide variety of stuff too. Yeah.
I imagine it'd be better for the artist as well to not be in the artist alley kind of thing, because it means you don't have to sit there and mind your stall.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, plus it can be very crowded. But yeah, that way it's like you can enjoy the con too and know that your stuff is being looked after and sold.
Well, favourite moment, favourite time. Difficult question. The after party of the Valentine's Day party, I mean, can't beat a bit of dancing. I say a bit. No, I have to agree about like the guests and each sort of more conversation. I mean, it kind of felt like, so I go to a lot of BFI events in England, and it kind of felt like that sort of vibe, but the entire convention. And they're the best vibes. You kind of just have chats with people, and you just have a bit to drink, you know, and just converse with people, and it's really lovely. I love that we have those similar vibes here. Sean Carlson came up to me on the first day, and that was mad. And we had a lovely conversation. He spoke a bit of Welsh, of course, as well, which love Welsh. But yeah, no, there's not really been a specific highlight because it's all been brilliant. There's that word beginning with K that I can't pronounce. The
Kathy Clutch. I'm just trying. I don't know that I'm pronouncing it right.
And I met some lovely people there. I got to hang around with you guys. That's always a highlight. I mean, I got to meet you for the first time. Which, I met
Nat for the first time also. Yeah.
I met some lovely people as well. Brooklyn as well, who's also in my vlogs. Just everyone really. Yeah. The people.
It is very hard to choose the highlights. I mean, you did your video asking us about our favorite memories.
Yes, of course.
Of Gallifrey One, and I was like,
I will link that.
I had 4 because I was like, there's not going to be just one, and I think it's the same principle with picking your favorite thing, because there's so much that happens at the convention. Like, I mean, pretty much your entire day is filled with something, if you wish it to be. But I think we're all kind of in agreement that it's you know, the guests and the experience, because really, because I was gonna say it's all of the attendees that, you know, are my favorite part, because you get to meet so many people and so many new friends. Yeah. But the convention is so that the guests kind of also become part of the attendees.
Yeah. A lot of people in that video that I did told me, like, really humanizes them to people.
Yeah.
Like, to many people, these are legends. You know, these are people that they look up to or like listen to or watch, and they're just roaming around. Like, seeing people's reactions, like Stephen Moffat walking through the bar, for example, and people just like stop, and then they process it, and then they go up and talk and then buy drinks, and it's lovely. It's a lovely environment. I really, personally, I felt in my element around it.
My first year, he didn't do it this year, but my first year, Sylvester McCoy was playing spoons at the bar. And I mean, most guests, you know, they might not, you know, be as talkative, but typically they'll be in the lobby doing LobbyCon, which is, LobbyCon refers to when the actual events of the convention end and people just go into the lobby and start hanging out for like 6 hours after, until they all collapse and go to sleep. But I mean, yeah, guests will do that. They'll walk around, they'll talk to people. I met Sophie Aldred at the ice cream party one year.
I guess these things I was really curious about, like, because there's a convention, like you have the convention, which is like LFCC or MCM. It runs from Friday to Sunday. What you don't have a clue about really, or what you don't know about, is the sort of things that happen either side. So there's a lot that happens on the Wednesday and the Thursday that is sort of the unofficial start of the con. So like, one thing that I didn't really get was the In-N-Out burger run, which is just essentially, if you want to know, it's a load of people gather in a lobby and all just take an Uber or walk to...
Or end up in the back of a van.
Or end up bundled into the back of a van.
Not always. There was rain this year, I should clarify. Usually it's a walk.
Yeah, you're safe. You go to the In-N-Out burger nearby, and everyone just sits down in a restaurant and has a meal before the con. And you'll find that the restaurant is just wholly Doctor Who people, and it's really lovely. I think it must have started as an unofficial thing. And
I think it did.
become-
I think that is the story. Is that it
Yeah.
started as an unofficial thing and then because a lot of stuff did.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, like
Many
a
things,
lot
so-
of meetups, like the Tiki meetup, started as an unofficial thing and then got added
it
to the
slowly
schedule.
gets programmed into the calendar, which I think happens with a lot of events at Gallifrey.
Yeah.
Like word of mouth. And then I think that's when I think in everyone's heads it starts, and then after that you have the ice cream social. Like, I don't know what I was expecting for that, but you do. It's generally everyone sort of goes down to the convention level and eats ice cream in a big room, and someone gets on a mic and like opens the con, and you just hang out. And we were having like Haagen-Dazs with Susan Twist.
Yeah, well, that was Sean Lyon, who is the director basically of Gallifrey One, and I couldn't make out what he was saying because the room does get a little bit loud because everybody's socializing and
Just a little
doesn't quiet down when he's speaking for some reason. But yeah, that's sort of the official launch is the ice cream social, which is always nice because I mean everyone's already been socializing, but you sort of finally get put together in that room and you get to see the stage and all the decorations that have been put up and the setup, and then it's like, okay, now we're in it.
Yeah, that was interesting because we don't have that kind of thing at all. Like, we'd heard people say as well, like, oh, ice cream social, and we had no clue what it was, what that even meant, really.
Yeah.
All the ice cream was free, which was nice.
I think
and surprising.
At one point I thought everyone would just sit down and get like this like glass full of like ice cream sundae, like
I thought that.
in a Pizza Express type way, and
Yeah.
just sit on a table like fine dining with this glass of like sundae. And I had people just get a nice little
Yeah.
It's just like
Haagen-Dazs though, pricey.
yeah, they don't have
It was
the budget
nice.
for one on
I don't think
that.
I had any ice cream that night.
Really?
Was it nice? I enjoyed the first bit of LobbyCon when I met you,
Yeah.
and then we met up, and then I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed getting to know people as well, and it sort of starts there. I really did feel like the con started there. And it's been non-stop ever since. And me and Brooklyn snuck downstairs and went into the TARDIS room, the main room, before the con started, and got a few videos with the TARDIS. But to be fair, most people were fine with us doing it. It was really nice actually. People were really sweet, showing us around, showing the control. There's only one person who understandably wasn't as happy, and we left, so that was a nice start. It was a nice sort of seeing everything getting set up and seeing the TARDIS and seeing all that. That was a highlight, definitely.
Well, I think because you mentioned stuff that was unofficial and then became official, part of that is the Wednesday ribbon exchange, because everything started on Thursday with the in and out run and then launch party, but so many people were starting to hang out in the lobby on Wednesday that they added. Yeah.
You can move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we take you on we're gonna take
Let's
you on a
take you on an
journey.
adventure.
Quite like Wednesday because I can put out every time I look good.
So,
Hi.
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 Welcome to Gallifrey One After Hours.
We've been hoovered into a corner, and now we've had to move. We were talking about LobbyCon and how Wednesday there didn't used to be events from what I remember, and then so many people were in the lobby on Wednesday night that they added a ribbon exchange, which ribbons are the little badge ribbons you get with quotes and art on them
That reach like the floor while you're walking
yeah,
around.
and you glue them to each other basically. They glue it on their own, they're self-adhesive. And you just create a really long chain and people give them out or trade them.
It's a thing we just don't have in the UK.
Well, I don't believe there's really, I believe there's a couple of anime conventions that do it as well, but there's maybe 5 conventions that have that as a thing that aren't like, that do it for a fan reason.
Does Chicago TARDIS do it? 'Cause I think
Chicago TARDIS doesn't do it, but so many people that come to Gallifrey One go to Chicago TARDIS, so they're trying to make it a thing there. But it's kind of slow going.
There are quite a lot of ribbon exchanges scheduled in, and I'm not sure how much people actually abide by those timings. They just because we didn't check once.
You can usually find a a good plethora of people, I think, that
Yeah.
that go to them. I tried to, but then I kept forgetting to.
I walked in and I just walked up to every table and I just said, one of everything, please. Most people were family and just gave me all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a really nice kind of start to the event, really.
Yeah, it felt like being at the Eras tour and trading friendship bracelets.
Yes.
Like, you just walk up to people and go, you know, do you want a ribbon? Are you exchanging ribbons? And
Isn't
they'll
Doctor
do it.
Who just all, eras,
In
isn't it?
many ways, this is the Eras tour of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
That is
Plus-
what Gallifrey One is.
Gallifrey One did it first.
Yeah.
I love Taylor, but Gallifrey One did it first.
Also, a weird amount of people were wearing Taylor Swift merch.
Yeah.
I was matching with many people in my cardigan. It was really odd.
Yeah. That's actually like a good segue. But there's like people cosplay here, and there's a cosplay masquerade as one of the events in the evening. I think of the second day, the Saturday, and the standard of like costuming here, people are so good. Someone did a costume of the 5th Doctor regenerating into the 6th Doctor,
That was amazing.
which transitioned on stage.
It
So
was incredible.
they spun and the costume changed from 5 to 6, and like
Yeah.
just the quality of the costumes was incredible.
It was a
Yeah.
moment. It was like that. Everyone was just.
And the raspy tin. That wasn't a sweet
Goodness
moment,
me.
but that was amazing.
That was a
Yes.
highlight for me.
Yeah,
personally.
the raspy tin coming out. He said every year for his birthday, he comes to the dance as raspy tin, breaks it down to
Got some
raspy tin.
moves. Huge dance circle, and this guy's just like breaking it down in the middle. It's amazing.
It's great.
It's a sight to be seen. And that night sort of ended with Doctor in distress. And
Yes, and we all danced. We all answered his SOS. Yeah.
Who's the Doctor? I'm the Doctor by John Pertwee. Magic Dance by David Bowie. I mean,
That was great.
Wicked as well. Defying
Yeah.
Gravity.
It's fine gravity, and then we
Yes.
requested What Is This Feeling and got very excited when we
Yeah.
played it.
I've got more Chappell Rowan songs stuck in my head than I've ever had in the past. To be fair, I'm quite thankful for
They
that.
did play Hot to Go.
And I
They
missed
did
it.
play Hot to Go.
I missed it. I was in the bathroom. I missed it.
And I realised I can't spell. I can't do the dance.
I think, to be honest, I think the whole dance is actually my favourite thing that happened this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, I feel like my favourite thing should be something actually con and guest related, but it
Yeah.
was the dance. Like,
Yeah,
you
no,
guys, that was
same.
so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had to miss it last year, so I had to party twice as hard this year, and I think I succeeded.
Cool though.
Yeah.
My calf can attest to my jumping.
I think, like, on that point, something that the dance actually made me realise was how accessible the con is. It's not something that can be said for most cons. It's small things like there's water everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's exceptional. It makes you think, like, okay, why don't other cons have this? It's so simple, and there's just water that's stocked all the time. You've got cups, and it's easily accessible. Like, there are different water points all over the hotel.
I think that's the thing. Having conventions in the hotel is always a good idea.
Yes.
Always a good idea. There are some conventions in England that do it. Phantom events in particular do them in hotels. And they're always really nice because you do get that social afterwards. You do get the social aspect.
Yeah.
I think with big Comic Cons like MCM and LSCC, I love both of them. I feel like they're both great. You all have to agree to go to a bar because it's quite
It's
far away.
expensive as well.
And it's expensive.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it was expensive to come out to here, but it was so worth it.
Yeah.
I don't regret a
Yeah.
single thing about that.
Yeah.
I have no regrets from this whole weekend.
I
Yeah.
think hosting in a hotel as well is what I've found. It makes it accessible for, I think, people who get overwhelmed. I mean, like neurodiverse people in particular. It's just so simple to leave the area, go and sit in a more relaxed area, or if you have a room, go and sit in the room or have a lie down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
since the hotel has already been set up to be accessible, so like you had a mobility aid or a wheelchair, you can access the hotel. You can go up in a lift. Like, there's no barrier really stopping you from accessing the con in that regard.
Yeah, I don't have any physical disabilities, but I've spoken to friends before who do. And they've had nothing but good things to say about the convention staff and their department for, making things accessible. I know in panels at the ends of rows they have seats dedicated to people who have mobility aids.
Yeah.
Every time I was in a photo line with, someone who had mobility aid, they were asking, like if somebody had a cane, they were asking, do you want a chair? If they wanted one, they were pulling a chair up for them so that they could sit in line. Priority access for people who have mobility aids. I've heard nothing but good things, and usually the staff, if something is going wrong, are pretty good about rectifying it and making things different for next time.
Yeah, I feel like getting between the floors was more difficult this year because of the escalators being down.
Yes,
But,
there are
like,
usually
not-
escalators. There were not this year. They broke, which is not the convention's fault.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was not the
that's
convention fault, it was the hotels. It did make things more more difficult,
Yeah.
but it wasn't their fault and shouldn't happen again.
Yeah. Since this is a review, do you think there's anything that you'd say would need improving? Because I think I've got 2 points, but like as a whole, there's really like not much
I can't
left.
think of anything.
A lot of it's just fine tuning, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's on the day, in person, human error a lot of the time, and everything has really been thought out, and it's probably just a lot of knowing, all the staff knowing the information and not presuming like you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, like the 2 issues we had were based on the fact that I think people just assumed that like you must have been there before and you must have known what was meant to happen.
Yeah, so it's like slightly a little bit inaccessible if you weren't already familiar with the convention and its functions. Yeah.
I know there's only 3 years left to Gallifrey One.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
But definitely, there's some fine tuning, but overall I feel like I had 10 out of 10 experience. It was definitely like, I thought it was perfect in the end. But there was,
you guys want to discuss like what?
Sure, I think it's to give a balanced review of this. The issues that we had, I think particularly they boiled down to either, both us not knowing what we are meant to be doing or where we're meant to be going, and a break in the communication where it could have been assumed that we knew what we were doing. So the first example was we were meant to go to a coffee clutch, which is a sort of small, you can book in to see one of the guests at a sort of small gathering of about 12 people and just sit down and have tea with them, which is something is really unique to Galley. You really don't get that anywhere else, and it's free. And what Galley do, credit to them, they keep the room a secret because you don't want, obviously, for the guests' privacy, and they run it quite smoothly, and they protect the identities of the people who go. But it's a really wonderful opportunity, and so me and Nat signed up for one with Alex McQueen, and at the time that we signed up, there wasn't any information on the website about arriving, when you had to arrive, or what their policy was with regards to like letting people in. So on the day, we made it down to the room for I think 1 minute past the time, the starting time of the event, and were denied access to the event basically, and had been replaced with the substitute people who'd signed up on the reserve list. And our problem with this was we weren't told, essentially. The policy for this wasn't on the website, and I think you could very fairly assume that if you arrive pretty much bang on the start time of an event, you'll be admitted into the event.
It started at 3 and we got there at 3:01, and there was nothing to say you couldn't get there at 3. And it's like, the fact that they'd already replaced us by 3:01 meant that if we'd got there at the time that they'd said that it started, we still wouldn't have been let in.
Yeah.
The policy for previous years was that you had to show up 15 minutes before the start time, Otherwise, they would start filling in empty spots. But the problem was, I did go back and I looked, and I don't believe that was said this year.
No, it wasn't.
So I
on the
don't blame you
website.
for not knowing.
Yeah, it wasn't online. We checked, like, it wasn't on any signs or anything around them. So, like, we had no idea as people who'd never been before that we had to be there 15 minutes early.
I think like that was more just an assumption and a fine detail that they possibly needed to go through. Instead of making a new web page for the coffee patch, they could have copied over the policies and maybe given the information on the sign up. But I think it was an assumption that, because most of the people who go to Galley are people that have been before.
Yeah.
The rest of the con is dedicated to you, like people are really dedicated to you having a good time if it's your first time. But I think the gap in information can lead to like, we didn't know, and it was upsetting that we missed it. And it's a similar thing actually happened to us the same day. And like, 'cause we've had a really good convention. It wouldn't be a balanced review if we weren't telling you. But stuff like this, like we missed out on participating in the cosplay masquerade because we weren't given the information. But like a lot of this is just like we weren't told.
Because the cosplay masquerade started at 8, and when we signed up, you had to sign up the day before, which we did. And when we signed up, they said like, oh, it starts at 8, you have to like get there early. We were like, oh, of course you have to get there early, you know, that's fine. But all they said was get there early. And so, you know, after having the whole Cafe Clutch mishap thing, we were like, right, early, 15 minutes early, makes sense. So we got there 15 minutes early, and they were like, no, you were meant to arrive 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Which we didn't know, no one had said to us. It's like, again, something that it was assumed that we'd been before and would know, but we didn't.
Which was like, every time you miss an event, I think, especially when we've come from so far, I mean, a lot of people come far, but it's the missing out on the event when if you'd only had the information, it could have been prevented.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, but it's not, in this instance, it's not a critique of the management really, it's just critique on information being available. So I think that was the only negative to our con experience.
Oh, I did think for the Cafe Clutch as well that with the escalators being down and how long it was of a wait for the elevator, that they could have given a bit more time for people to arrive, because we were literally stuck on the 4th floor where our room was. We were stuck up there for about 7 minutes waiting for an elevator, because ones would turn up and they'd be completely full, because that was the only way of getting between floors. So it did feel a bit like they could have waited longer for people to turn up before replacing us.
Yeah, I think that sign that happened to me at the guest receptions later on. The second one, I ended up just running up 16 flights of stairs, and I managed to get there just in time, but if it had waited like an extra few minutes, that would have been a bit, especially with the escalators down. The escalators, and again, that's not the convention's fault at all. But yeah, no.
I think for mine, it was kind of similar to needing information to be more available and communicated. I was in the art show this year, like we said, which was amazing. Went really well and, you know, went really smoothly. And maybe it's just because I'm the sort of person where I have to ask a million questions about everything and get like almost every single detail sorted and clarified. But it did for a newbie, it did feel like there was a lot of information that I was expected to already know participating in the art show, but I didn't. And so really like the month and a half leading up to the convention and the art show, I was learning new information about how it worked from other people that were in the art show, because I had read the information on the page, and you know, I'm a newbie, and so I was confused and asking more questions to prepare, and then it was like some stuff was completely different to how I understood it based on the information that was on the page. So I just, you know, again, not a major thing, things went smoothly, but I think it would have helped to have a bit more clarity on some things. Which I gotta fine tune what that was, so I can, you know, maybe suggest some updates. But yeah, I think, you know, like you said, most people have been coming to this convention for a long time, but that can make it confusing if communication starts to lapse a bit.
The next thing is panels in particular, because the panels at Gallifrey One are submitted by people who attend, like people can submit their ideas. They can apply to be a guest on a panel, and they can also apply to be a moderator on a panel. And so the process works so the applications for a panel idea will go out around August, September, and you can submit a panel, your title of your panel and description of your panel. Around then, they will then be accepted or denied, and then will come the chance for you to apply to be on that panel, to be on any of the panels that have been submitted, or be a moderator on that panel. I don't know, I found that process pretty straightforward. I think they have quite a fair allocation system, so you get like a first choice, a second choice, and they will try and always give you your first choice and then fill out the panels from there. Well, I was on a panel and Ivy was on 2 panels as well.
Yeah, I really like, I think they do a good job of making sure that if it's someone's first time being a panelist, they at least make it on one panel. First time that I ever applied to be on a panel, and it was the same for my friend, we both ended up on some kind of panel, like to start with. So I think they're pretty good at getting, you know, experienced panelists, and then also letting new panelists come and get that experience.
Yeah. I think doing the panels was a really enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
Like, it is really fun. Like, if you have never been in that sort of environment before, it's really good practice to just, and you're in a room with loads of friends, basically, talking about something you're passionate about. And for a lot of panels that I watched, they were really great to watch. They were really good and really insightful, really relaxed, and like with the nature of it being like fan run, all the panels are just mainly fan run, like there are different styles of moderation, and you know, some panels are quicker, some panels are slower. I think next year I'm going to apply to be a moderator. I think it's a role that I quite like, and hopefully I get in because they're pretty good with that.
Yeah, no, there were a lot of fun panels that I went to. I went to particularly some of the big Finnish ones. There was also a role-playing game one, the game of Rassilon. That one was a lot of fun, and that was so much fun. I also went to one all about death. Being so it was like a broad amount of subjects, and it was really fun. There wasn't really any that I didn't enjoy. No, all mostly kind of fan run in the best possible way, because I really feel like that's, and obviously there were the big panels, of course, with some of the big guests, you know, like Catherine Tate, Jenna Coleman, all on the big stage, and all the Gallifrey cast as well. And those were all brilliant as well. I loved the Catherine Tate one. The audience work that she did was incredible. It was brilliant. There wasn't a single panel that I didn't enjoy. I thought they were all brilliantly put together, really.
Definitely for the big ones, you don't get that same awkwardness as you do in particularly Showmasters cons in the UK, where you'll get an interviewer who doesn't really know the guests, or you know, the interview questions are okay, and then for most of the panels here there aren't any fan Q&A questions, which I actually found really refreshing, because you find yourself holding your breath a lot when it opens up to the audience, because people do say really awkward stuff.
That was one of the main reasons why, because they used to have an open mic for audience Q&A here at Gallifrey One, and then they took it away because there were some awkward instances. I believe the website literally says, we don't want to hear statements instead of questions. You don't want to hear the same questions that have always been asked time and time again, like, what is your favorite monster? And then some unfortunate awkward incidents that have arisen from giving people the microphone.
I mean, I vividly remember in the UK someone using their question in the panel to try and plug their TikTok and make the actor follow them on TikTok, which was horrific.
Painful.
Horrific to watch. But the big panels here was so
doesn't
much
happen
better.
here.
One thing I've always liked about Gallifrey One is there's so much going on at the same time, which sometimes can be stressful because you have to pick between things that you really want to do. But there's so much diversity in terms of what is happening all at the same time. I mean, you know, you have the big panels with, you know, the really big guests who are being interviewed, and then you have the small fan-led panels that always have a wide variety of topics. But then if you're not feeling like going to those, they have the dealer's room where you can buy stuff and like look through merch and old books. or you can go get an autograph or a photo. Or if you don't want to do those things, you can go check out the art show and look at that. And then they also have a video room that you guys probably didn't see, because usually, you know, if you keep busy, but they do have a video room where they'll show episodes.
I did pop in there a few times. Just
Yeah,
to see what was
so
playing.
if you just need a break, you can just go watch an episode of Doctor Who, and then I believe they also have a gaming room. If like, there's always something, and you know, even if you're not feeling any of that, you can go back up to the lobby and hang out, and or you can sit outside and get some food or have a moment. Like, there's just so many things to do if you just want something specific, or you don't know what you want to do and you just need a break. Like, there's a lot.
The one thing,
go
one thing I do wish is that they didn't have big guest things on at the same time, because there was one point where they had the Jenna Coleman script reading, which, like, obviously you've paid a lot of money to go to that, and at the same time was Stephen Moffat's interview, which is like a big guest. Yeah, and I felt like those two big guest things, I wish they'd been at different points, because we had to choose between them, and we booked going to the Jenna Coleman script reading before the schedule had come out, so like we didn't know that we were going to be missing that interview, and we might have made a different choice if we'd known.
Yeah.
Speaking of booking things in terms of cost and that accessibility, now I know we all probably went over budget, but in terms of financial accessibility, how do you feel like it rates?
The price of the con ticket is completely fair.
Yeah, it was like $126, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah, which is less in pounds. You get essentially 3.5 full days of activity. You think about, you go to putting a kid in a summer camp, you know, that's you entertained fully and around people and guests you want to see for 3.5 full days. And that includes, like, they will get you ice cream for the ice cream social, that'll pay for renting the hotel, that'll pay for the guests, that pays
like the
for
whole party that you go to, the Friday
party
night.
And
I'd pay £100 just for the party, to be honest.
It's entirely fair. Like, I'm going to compare it to the cost of a con we have in the UK called Hooverville, and you know, Hooverville ticket is 50-60 quid, and for that you get 1 day. You do get guest autographs for free, and you get, you know, the rent and the hire of the building. Compare it to Gallifrey One, 3.5 days for $120 or so, with 3.5 days worth of guests, panels, activities, food, the location.
Some of them were signing for free as well, like big
Yes,
guests.
a lot of guests. Stephen Moffat was signing for free. I mean, it really depends. Usually showmasters, guests, and actors don't really usually sign things for free. But, you know, writers, producers, they usually will.
Yeah, you're paying to access these guests, basically.
Yeah.
I think it's a really fair cost of ticket, and I think a policy they've implemented this last year, and I think they'll continue to do it, is the earlier you buy your ticket, the cheaper it is. So the sooner if you know you want to go straight away, the cheaper your ticket is going to be. But yeah, I think for us three, maybe the ticket was the cheapest thing we had to buy to get here. So in terms of like travel and accommodation, so if you're coming for the week of the con, you will get a discounted rate on the Marriott hotel rooms, which is where it's held, this building. And they will give you quite a good discount if you want to stay in the hotel. And I think it's fairly reasonable, fairly mid-range pricing.
The discount runs from Monday to Monday as well.
Yes.
So you can't use it past then, but you can have a shorter within that time. A lot of people arrive Thursday.
Yeah, something important to mention though is it's limited availability.
Yeah,
and
sells out very
goes
fast.
very quickly. They'll put a post up on social media saying this is when it's going live, and usually 5 minutes after it goes live, all the rooms are gone.
Less than even.
Even if you don't get that, there are still plenty of hotels around.
Very
There's no shortage.
Every year, pretty much, I've stayed in a different hotel, and all of those hotels are within 5-minute walking distance of this hotel. So even if you don't get in the Marriott, which is likely because it goes very quickly, there's a whole block of affordable hotels where you literally just have to cross the street and you're here.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have to take a car, or it's a huge inconvenience if you don't get into the hotel. There's just other options which are all very wonderful and have different unique perks of their own.
Yeah, we were very lucky to get into the hotel, us two, and I mean, I'm really glad we did. I think it really made the experience better. But like, yeah, you guys were really close by, and you guys looked
10
happy.
minutes away, and I'm fine with where I am.
Yeah.
And financially, it was really good and well worth it. And plus, I got long bar for $70, which financially,
Why would you bring that up?
it's a financial thing, kind of.
We've been having such a good night. I literally, when you told me you got that, I wanted to be sick. So just let's move on.
Financially,
Let's move on.
worth everything.
Let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, we stayed in the hotel. We stayed Tuesday to Monday on one booking, and that was $1,300 with the discounted rate. So that's how much you're looking at. And if you're coming from the UK, especially, I wouldn't come any later than the Tuesday because we had horrific jet lag.
Don't do it to yourselves.
Yeah.
People, do not do it.
But the thing is too, I'm gonna let these people walk by. Okay, where we at? Usually, I mean, you can if you room with friends, you can the cheaper it is, the more people in your room. I mean, one year I was stayed at the residence, which has rooms that can accommodate more people, and there were 6 of us in the room. So for the whole week, each of us only paid $400 for the hotel, which is actually pretty cheap for the whole week of a hotel, and it was a very large, nice room with free breakfast. I think it's definitely more financially accessible if you're coming with people.
Yeah.
But if you're not and you're comfortable, there's usually people in the Facebook group, which is called Gallifrey One fans, friends, and attendees, that are looking for a roommate. And so if you're comfortable doing that, it makes it cheaper if you're able to share a room with somebody or multiple people.
I mean, some people have offered to help me get here next year or the year after, so just go into that chat and ask, and people are more than willing to be helpful and are very, very friendly.
In the Marriott, you have the option of getting like a 1 king bed in a room or 2 doubles. And so we ended up with a room that had 2 doubles in it, even though it was just us. So like we could have easily shared that with people, and that would have split the cost. But I mean, I think we're glad that we didn't, because it was nice to have somewhere to chill
But
in the evening.
if you're doing
But if you're doing it for money, then
we will definitely go the very basic save money route next year.
yes.
For this year, we were splurging. The travel costs, I mean, it varies for everyone, but if you're coming from the UK, what did you pay for your flight?
I want to say about 400, 300.
For a return or one way?
I would check.
That feels weirdly cheap.
What's Rory?
I will say, whatever the price is, there's the rule of travel that it's cheaper 2 to 3 months before the trip.
Yeah.
Because what happened to me the last 2 years, but I only realized it last year, I was buying my plane tickets in like July of the year before the convention, thinking, oh, well, it's only going to get more expensive the closer to the convention it gets. So my plane tickets were about $700. And what I found out is that because it's better to buy your tickets 2 to 3 months before your trip, in I think September, October before the convention, I re-googled it and they were about $340. So I could have saved $800 across 2 years.
Where were you coming from, Ivy?
Michigan.
Oh, okay.
The plane prices were £454 and 79 pence.
Hang on.
That's
hang on.
For a return.
Yes.
That is
Yeah.
excellent.
Wait.
That was from Heathrow.
Yeah.
Flights are so cheap.
We flew Virgin Atlantic because they were meant to be the best.
We splurged again.
Yeah, I think the cheapest on Virgin Atlantic was around $550 for a return, but we did go premium economy because we needed 2 suitcases because we're staying for a while.
Yeah.
And also because neither of us have really flown before, we wanted it to be like the extra leg room and not have other people in our row, so that we could, have our little freak out in private.
We could have done it a lot cheaper.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a lot of food options too. you know, you can DoorDash to the hotel, and they're pretty good about, you can just pick it up at the door.
Yeah,
You-
that is not cheap though. We've
Yeah.
done that a couple of times. Yesterday, 3 of us ordered a pizza from Domino's, and it came to $50 for one extra large pizza with some dip, which was a bit crazy. But
but there's some restaurants within walking distance.
There's a
corn
Denny's.
There's a Denny's,
Denny's.
that we
Yeah.
experienced.
Yep.
There is the Marriott does have food and drink options at the hotel, but it tends to run a little bit pricier. There is a
There are
Starbucks in the
2 food
hotel.
trucks outside.
Yeah,
all
and they have
times.
food trucks all weekend as well.
the lines for the food trucks were massive though.
Yeah.
We
Let's
did
go
end
there a
up-
bit later on.
Yeah.
I do recommend buying snacks and bringing snacks because you are allowed to do that.
Yeah.
So
Buy groceries. We found it like somewhere like Trader Joe's is just like it's great. You just can get your food from there, pack it up, and eat it. And
There are fridges in the Marriott rooms, which is very helpful.
Yeah.
Did you have a fridge in yours?
Oh, yes, I did.
I would say like something that I've learned is the sales tax. If you're from the UK, this will be completely unfamiliar to you.
Yeah.
But each state will have a different tax that they put on top of like normal food items or any items really that you buy in a shop. And the price that you're shown on the label is not the price of the item.
yes.
Yeah, and
And-
California has the highest sales tax.
California has the
Yeah,
highest
as an
sales
American,
tax.
I did not think about that because that's how I live day to day. I believe California is 9.5%. So for
Yeah.
every US dollar you're spending,
9.5 cents.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that is something to keep in mind. But I guess I believe where I live anyway, the rule is you can't get taxed on food that hasn't been prepared for you, but everything else can get taxed. So if you're buying a carton of eggs, that won't get taxed, I believe, but everything else gets taxed.
Gotcha. And you've also got to consider, again, if you're coming from the UK, tipping
Yeah.
your
Yes.
drivers, the people who deliver your food. So if you're going for food, you want it cheaper, I would go to a grocery store, buy smart, and you don't have to tip the people at the supermarket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pack up food.
If you're at a restaurant, you're gonna want to keep that in mind. Typical tipping etiquette is 20% of your bill. So if your bill is $10, that would be $2 a
Yeah.
tip. You know, and that's if it's good service. Obviously, you can tip more if it was bad service, or if you're just getting fast food. I wouldn't tip as much. It's more just if you have like a server coming to your table, refilling your drinks and tending to you is when you tip the most.
Yeah.
So if you're like just getting a Starbucks, you could probably tip like 10-15%, but it is considered etiquette to always tip. So
I guess the sort of cost accessibility advice would be, this is not a cheap con to go to, but it can be done cheaply, relatively. But
Yeah.
if you're coming for a con, you'll be paying the same as if you're going on holiday somewhere exotic.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you'll expect to pay more whilst you're here because California is expensive. Expect to pay more on hotels, but you can just look for the cheapest option is the advice, but it's not the cheapest con to come to.
well, I think what it comes down to for me is, even though it definitely isn't the cheapest con to come to because it's in California, your money, it's worth the money.
Exactly.
Is
Yeah,
the main
yeah.
factor.
So worth it.
Obviously,
So worth it.
you have to consider the money. We all do.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to spend the money, I mean, you are going to get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like we talked about earlier, it's not like a commercialized convention where you just show up and, if you get a photo, they just kind of shove you in the line, tell you to get out. And then, you go to sign the autograph and they don't let you personalize it, or they just, you get 0.2 seconds in front of the guest. I mean, they have a very full program. They always get a lot of great guests. There's a lot of opportunities for you to participate in panels as a attendee in the convention, like there is just so much going on and so much being offered that it is worth the money if you're able to go.
Definitely. I would say about autographs though, we were used to the UK cons where if they're not on the schedule as doing something, they are always signing, but it's not like that here. They do have specific times for signing, like because we were looking to get Alex McQueen's autograph and he only had like a 1 hour slot for signing, which we missed because we just kind of expected that he would always be doing it if he wasn't like on a panel or wasn't taking photos. So that was a surprise, bear that in mind.
But I think that's kind of nice too though, because I think one of the complaints I see is people say that it kind of feels like guests are overworked at conventions, but here at Gallifrey One, like they get a chance to get up and walk around or go back to their room for a bit and rest and relax. And I've always really liked that because like, you know, just as much as I want us to be taken care of as attendees, like I want the guests to be taken care of. I don't want them to just feel like they're getting, you know, shoved into the crowd of fans.
I think because there's a lot less people here than at like UK cons as well. Like if they were sat there all the time, they wouldn't have anything to do for a long time.
Yeah. So it's nice that they get a bit to rest and recharge between events. I guess my last question would be, if you were to sell Gallifrey One to someone, like sell the idea of coming to Gallifrey One, what would be your business proposal? What would be the way you try to win them over to get them here? And you won't be paid by the convention for getting it right.
Few things. One, shameless self-promotion, but watch your vlogs. I vlogged it all. If you want like a taster of that energy, just watch that. But two, it's kind of the Whoniverse incarnate. It is like, it's everything Doctor Who is. It's a community, it's what we do best. Everything that's great about Doctor Who and what we do is here. I highly recommend it as a first time visit to Galley. I had just the best time imaginable, like genuinely. It has been everything and I'm so gonna come back here one day. Even if it's your first Doctor Who con, it's one hell of a first con. I mean, it's just the best atmosphere with the best people.
I just thought cost-wise, another thing to consider is ribbons, which just came to me. Because you don't have to do that, but edit it back into things. Another thing to consider is ribbons. You don't have to buy them, but it's well worth it to buy them. You like make them up with little phrases on and hand them out to people. And if it's your first galley, people will just give them to you anyway, but it's a lot nicer to be able to have something to give them back to trade.
We paid about for 200 ribbons, it's about $70, I think. But you at 200 ribbons is a lot.
200 ribbons is all you need. I had 300 this year because there was a bit of a mishap and I had to reorder a design, and so I had 300 this year and it was way too much. I have like almost 200 left over that I'm just gonna bring for next year. So you do not need more than 200 ribbons.
No, shipping to the UK on ribbons is quite expensive because they are in America. Thankfully, Ivy took ours, and so we collected them here. So if you have an American friend to ship them to, that does make it cheaper.
Well, and there is Ribbons Galore is the main website that people use, and I actually don't believe they ship to the UK.
Oh,
yeah. Wow. Either that or it's so expensive you don't want them to. So it's really nice if you can find an American friend to bring them for you. I can't offer myself to everybody because this year I had about 1,000 ribbons in my bag because I was bringing them for so many people. But and Ribbons Galore is not the only website to use. I just, the other ones escape me, but there are other options.
Yeah, yes. I think people had slightly different sized ribbons, so you could tell when they were bought on a different website.
I think it's best summed up in a quote from the closing ceremony of this year. It was one of the guests. Everyone thinks while you're writing, that's where the magic happens, in the writers' rooms or the crew or the people making the show, but actually where the magic happens is here. And I think if you've lost your love a bit or you have a family in Doctor Who, you'll definitely find a love for the fans, for the show, for the people who make it, for fans who make things, for everything to do with it. And this is definitely where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed. That's my
Yeah.
sales pitch.
I feel like I don't need to give a sales pitch because I've convinced so many people to come here already.
Yeah.
That I don't need to give one, but I mean, I'll always encourage people to come here because this is absolutely one of the best conventions that you can go to because it's not just a convention, it really is like a culture and a family, and it's, I mean, it is a bit like summer camp. It's like a Doctor Who summer camp in the winter, but with the actual guests,
To be
and
fair,
they're
thanks
part
for
of the
this
summer
summer.
camp.
That weather out
Yeah.
there may as well be summer.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
And that's
It's
winter
been
out
so
there.
warm.
I wore
Yeah.
sunglasses today.
There were 2 days in absolute rain, but the rest of it's been nice, bright, sunny. It's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, good place to come if you're from the UK and want to avoid. It's been snowing today in the UK, and here it's been bright sunshine.
It's been snowing in the UK.
Yeah, my family group chat was all going,
This
it's
is-
snowing, it's snowing.
Meanwhile out there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the pitch. It's snowing there. Please come here. It's hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's boiling hot out there. It's bloody freezing in the UK. Come here instead.
And there's a hot tub.
There is
Yeah.
a hot tub.
Yeah.
We've not been in the hot tub yet, but
We need
it's
to go in the
there.
hot tub. Let's
I
go.
have not been in the hot tub yet.
But right.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's good.
Well, all right. I'm glad. I mean, 3 newbies and a returning attendee, and I think we all had a really great year, and I'm glad that you guys did because it was
Yeah.
the first time.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we came. And I'm so glad that you guys were here as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, it's been so fun to hang out with you.
I know we've been like a
Likewise.
little crew. This is the last
Yeah.
night, so we had a lot more people in our crew that are unfortunately not with us because they've gone home. So
Yeah.
we're just the last breaths of the. I mean, this is Monday night, so the convention ended more than 24 hours ago. But people are still in the lobby hanging out. Of course, it's the final groups of people, and we're all
The
leaving
last people
soon.
standing, that's what we are.
Yeah.
We are, yeah. I don't think we
Trickling
are.
out.
But we're gonna claim it anyway because
Oh,
we're
yeah.
making the video, so we do it.
I mean, we're here for a while longer after this.
Yeah, the 3 of us are all staying for a couple
Yeah.
of weeks.
So
Ivy's
technically,
gonna retire.
I'm not the last one standing, but I think in spirit, I will
Yeah.
always haunt the lobby throughout the year, and so I'd like to think that I'd like to think. The hotel is fighting against me. I'm trying to say that I'm leaving a piece of me behind so that I can always perpetually be counted as the last one standing, but the hotel is fighting against me saying that, so I concede.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that,
Yeah.
the 2025 season is over or something. So yeah, join us next year as we make poor financial decisions and come
Yes.
again. And we'll have a brand new fresh review.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
You
you.
can come hang out with us.
Yes,
it's a great
please
group.
do.
Mwah. Love you all and good night.